So where's everybody at? I'm gonna post an announcement. You know what? I'm actually going to. We'll wait 5 more minutes. Did everybody get my email? I think I might have sent 2 emails. Did everybody get my email? So the first one was just talking about the modality of the classroom. And the second one, maybe it was just one. Did everybody get that email?
There's the Teams link, yeah.
Okay, the Teams link. All right. Was everybody able to join Teams? I'm still learning how to do it. I don't know if that was the correct link or not. I mean, were you able to join that team?
Okay.
No one has done it yet? Okay. Are any of you on the live stream right now, by chance? I just see 3 viewers. I'm just curious. I'm obviously one of them. Okay, there's more popping in. So I'll wait a little longer while people are hopping on the live stream here. I'm just gonna chat. I'm gonna chat with people. That's what we're gonna do for their class. I'm just gonna chat, wondering why no one is here. Or I should say curious why no one is here. Who's here right now today? Let's go with names.
Howell, Sean.
Sean? Sean, nice to meet you.
Abby.
Abby, nice to meet you, Abby.
Elijah.
Sir?
Elijah.
Elijah, you were in my other class, right?
Yeah,
Weren't you?
yeah, good year.
Good to have you again. Good to have you in this class as well. Looks like we have Ben watching from home. Come on in.
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
What's your name?
I'm Will.
Will, nice to meet you. Will, what's your name?
Brendan.
Brendan?
Yep.
Nice to meet you as well. Come on in, sit down. Anybody else out there waiting around? No?
I didn't see anybody.
Do you mind just stepping over just a tad? My camera right there, I'm live streaming right now. Thank you. So we have 5 people. We have 1 person who's online right now. All right. Since we're 10 minutes past class time, I'll go ahead and begin. All right, so hello everybody, my name is Mr. Dinar. Welcome to Media Theory. It's good to have you in here. What I wanted to do today is I wanted to discuss the modality of this classroom and introduce myself, maybe get to know each other a little bit today, and then perhaps start in chapter 1 of the textbook, just depending on how things are going so far. So that's the game plan for today. All right, so first things first. Judging by how many people are here today on the first day of class, I'm probably going to change things. I'm probably going to change the modality of this classroom. Previously, it was supposed to be we meet half in class on Tuesday and then half on Thursday via Microsoft Teams. I assumed that students would want some sort of face-to-face experience in the classroom. That is why I had it being half in person. But considering the amount of people who have not showed up today, I'm assuming that that is not a concern for students. I'm assuming that everybody that is here today, wants some sort of face-to-face learning. I get that. That's why you came today. But I am, let's be honest, I'm a little discouraged about how many people did not show up on the first day of class for the face-to-face class. For whatever reason, I'm not sure what that reason is. Maybe it would have been more beneficial for me to post a survey just to see how many students actually cared about the face-to-face component of this classroom. That might have been more productive. But things are probably going to change. If only 5 people are going to come to class every week, it does not seem productive to have a face-to-face class. I would rather have the entire class, even if it's mediated, even if it's via Microsoft Teams, I would rather have the entire class than 5 people show up to the face-to-face class. So things are probably going to change. And I do want to hear your feedback. I want to know what your reaction to this, okay? But just so everybody understands, if 5 people are going to show up to the face-to-face, that's not going to be very helpful in this classroom, especially for a higher level course like this, the 4,000 course. So I will say this. The Microsoft Teams version of this class, so the mediated class that we're going to do online, the way I was setting that up, it's designed to, come on in, have a seat. It's designed to replicate the classroom as much as possible. So I do expect you to have your cameras on during the Microsoft Teams section. Obviously it's synchronous, so you are to show up during our normal class time. It's going to be more interactive, so I expect you to participate in the class even though we are on Microsoft Teams. So once again, the mediated version of this class is not a complete drop-off. It's not drastically different from a face-to-face class. So what I'm trying to say is, if we did go online, it would not be, all right, you're on your own. That's not what would happen if we did go online, right? I would want to replicate the face-to-face component as much as possible. Right? That's why I had blended Tuesdays and Thursdays. Obviously, COVID is a concern, so I didn't want to have to force students to come both Tuesdays and Thursdays, kind of limited the amount of people are on campus at any given time. But this is what I want to do. I want to open it up to feedback from you. I want to hear your opinion on this. All right, so who wants to begin?
I mean, our opinions on whether to be online.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a film class. I would say I get maybe holding out for like next week, maybe.
Okay.
See how people show up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think people would be willing to be online, basically.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Doing 2 film classes last semester, just completely online, that was awful.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that at all. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you expressing your opinion. What else? What other opinions do we have? Yes.
I guess it is different, or do film classes online next semester, but if we had to switch to university, okay, I'm gonna be in person.
So just to let everybody know, this is not just a film class, it's a media theory class. So we talk about film a little bit. We actually talk far more about the internet, video games, new media, that sort of thing, television. So film is a small component. And there are, we will be discussing some films, but these films are primarily used as a tool to help us conceptualize some of these theories. So in other words, we're watching the films for fun, right? So just let everybody know that this media theory class is more than just a film class. We will talk about film, and of course you can write about film when you're writing your paper. Most certainly you can write about film, but we will be writing about more than just film. Any other opinions? So your name? Hadassah. Nice to meet you, Hadassah. So we were talking about, this was supposed to be a blended class, so we're meeting Tuesdays in person and then Thursdays online. I noticed that not that many people showed up on the first day of class. This was concerning to me. So I'm curious, I'm thinking to myself, I'm debating if just going solely online would be more productive than trying to make a more blended model. What do you think about that?
I kind of like the blended.
Okay, so you do want the face-to-face component, even if we only are meeting on Tuesdays. Did everybody know that, though, that we were only meeting on Tuesdays beforehand? So you're okay with that component at least? Okay. What other things? Yes, please.
More of a question, I mean, if you were going to make it online supposedly, so that means like you wouldn't be able to meet face to face once you made that decision, or like would it still be a blended class in the system? Even though
Right, so what I'm trying to say is,
Yeah.
let's say if people are just not coming to the face-to-face class, then I would switch to just online, because it seems very unproductive if we have, now more people came in, which is fantastic. But what I'm saying is, this is a class of 25 people, and if 5 people are coming, that doesn't seem very productive. I would rather have the whole class, even if it was mediated, even if it was via Microsoft Teams. If you're not familiar with Microsoft Teams, it's like Zoom, so everybody has their camera. I would ask you to turn your camera on, so you would be participating in the classroom, right? So it would be closer to the classroom experience, right? You just wouldn't be in the classroom. Right? It'd be very interactive, is what I'm trying to say. So that's these are my concerns. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm going through in my head as we speak right now. What would be more productive? Once again, I would rather have more of a class meeting than just, say, 5 people. And this is the first day of class, too. I taught the majority of the time last semester face-to-face, and I saw the classroom dwindle down significantly throughout the whole semester. So these are just some things that I'm thinking of. But so we have one person saying you really want that face-to-face, right? We have some people saying when you were on the fence about it. What's your opinion on this?
I think I like the blended because last semester I took most of my, I had like 5 classes online and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I prefer the blended.
Yeah, I can see. I most certainly can see that. And you're sort of on the fence on that, or would you really like the face to face?
I like the face-to-face.
You want the face to face? Well, you came to almost every one of my classes last semester. He was in my class last semester, and I taught face to face the entire semester. Your class is a large classroom, so even though it did dwindle down, it was still enough to where it felt like it was worth it.
Yeah.
I taught another class that was 30 people, and I had 3 people showing up at the end of the semester. That doesn't seem very productive. And you could tell based on the grades in that classroom that it was hurting students. So that's why I went to a Microsoft Teams format, because with Microsoft Teams, at least I am there, although we are disconnected through technology. And we'll talk about all this through media theory, right? Even though we're disconnected through technology, we can still be interactive, we can still communicate, we can still all participate. It can still be a discussion type class, which I like. So even though we'd be going online, I hope you wouldn't be associating that with the teachers that say, all right, we're going online, now you just take care of your business. Right? So it wouldn't be like that. It would be more structured. We'd be meeting synchronously. So that's sort of my pitch for at least the Thursday class. That's my pitch for the Thursday class at least. Right? What else? Do we have any other opinions on that? Concerns? What's your name?
Oh, Brandon?
Brandon?
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you, Brandon. What's your opinion on this so far? And the reason why I'm asking for your opinion is because I want your input in this. I want students to feel like they have a say in this classroom. Yes.
Yes, sir. I enjoyed the blended class.
You want the face to face.
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right. So how many people are here right now? We have 7 people. That seems worth it to me to continue. If all 7 of you are coming consistently, I understand that. If you're sick or whatever, I obviously don't want you to come to campus. But my concern is, we start off with this 7, and then midway through the semester, I'm teaching to 3 people on Tuesdays. Right. That's my concern. Okay, so we'll stick with it for now. We'll try another week. I'm streaming live, so people who maybe are watching live, and I'll post this, I'll remind people that this is available to watch for the students who are not here. If people come in on Tuesday, and it looks like we have a better crowd, then we'll stick with it. Yes?
Well, this just to say, this is my first time taking a blended class. Like, maybe
Oh, you're saying, so don't get rid of it completely.
I'm like kind of either way. I'm not saying like let's do online right now. I'm like maybe like once every other week, maybe.
Okay.
Probably better.
I'm open to that as well. I think that's also another good idea. This is what we're gonna do. Next Tuesday, I'll be here next Tuesday. And we'll see the crowd. Obviously, we're gonna have our Thursday class via Microsoft Teams. And then I'll kind of express my concerns that no one came to class. And then we'll try again on Tuesday and see what the crowd looks like, and then we'll kind of go from there. Does that sound good to everybody? How's everybody feel pretty good about that? Okay, fantastic. All right, good. Yeah. I want to be as open as possible. Obviously, I don't want to make an executive decision and just feel like you guys have no say. Good. All right. So let's go ahead and walk through this. Let's quickly go over the modality of this classroom one more time so we're all sort of clear on what's going to happen. So this is a blended model. Last semester, I taught the entire semester in both my classes face-to-face. Right? This is going to be a little bit different. It's a blended model, so we're going to meet on Tuesdays in the classroom, every Tuesday in the classroom. And then on Thursdays, every Thursday, we're going to meet via Microsoft Teams. And like I said before, that's designed to replicate the classroom as much as possible. So it's going to be highly participatory. I do ask that you turn your cameras on so I can see everybody's faces. I expect you to participate. I expect you to come to class, even if it's the mediated class. I expect you to come to class ready to speak, ready to talk, ready to discuss some of these theories, right? Okay, this is a 4,000 level class. I do expect you to be engaged, right? This is not a film aesthetics class. It's not a film history class, right? This is a media theory class, 4,000 level. I do expect you to be heavily involved. Okay? Sounds good, everybody, so far? Fantastic. Good. All right, so we went over the modality of this classroom. Let me talk about masks. So obviously, if we're going to be meeting face-to-face, it's extremely important with everything that's going on with COVID that everybody wears their mask for the entirety of the class. Right? I do ask that you keep your mask on the entire time. If you need to scratch your nose, pull it down, pull it back up. If you scratch your nose, if you need to take a drink, pull it back up after you take a drink. But keep the mask on the majority of the time that you are here in this classroom. Please do not, if you're about to say something, don't pull it down so we can hear you better. It negates the purpose. Keep the mask on the entire time. I ask that you do that. You will get used to wearing the masks. I taught the entire semester, last semester, wearing a mask, so I'm pretty accustomed to wearing the mask. If you feel like it's very uncomfortable, I will say that it does get better. You get used to talking through a mask. Yeah. Good. All right, so let's go ahead and let me introduce myself. How about that? Pictures. Everybody loves pictures. My name is Mr. Nar. I teach here at Georgia State University. Obviously, this is where we're at. I teach here film classes. This is the first time I've taught media theory, although this is the stuff that I know. Film history, right? Especially when you get into like Japanese cinema and that sort of thing, I don't really know much, but media theory, this is the stuff that I know, so I'm very excited about this class. I also teach at Auburn University. If you're familiar with that university, I teach public speaking over there as well. That's where I live, in Auburn. But once again, more than happy to commute here to teach this class face-to-face. More than happy to do that. If people come, I'm happy to do that. Don't feel like that's a concern for me at all. Yes?
Yes, sir. How long is it?
It's about 2 hours long. But it's something that I've been doing for a long time. I'm currently a PhD student here at Georgia State, so I'm getting my PhD in media studies. So I'm very used to the commute, and frankly, it doesn't bother me at all. I put a podcast on, it's sort of relaxing to me. So once again, the commute is not a factor in my decision if we go online at all. Okay? And as you can contest for being my class last year, what's your name again?
Elijah.
Was that?
Elijah.
Elijah? Elijah, as he can contest, I did the entire semester face-to-face. A little more about myself. I'm married to my wife, Linda, and I have 2 kids, Victor and Lexi there. This is us. If you're not familiar with Aubrey Claus, that's the mascot for Auburn University. As you can see, my daughter does not like Aubrey Claus. She is not a fan. More interesting facts about myself. Before I became a full-time teacher at Auburn and then came here to the PhD program, I was a firefighter for the city of Opelika, which is a city close to Auburn. I was a firefighter for 5 years. My wife is currently still a firefighter for the city of Auburn. She is the first female lieutenant for all the departments. And before we left the fire department, she wanted to take cute firefighter photos. There you go, there they are. There's the cute firefighter photos that we took. We're holding hands, walking towards our future. I don't know what the picture's supposed to represent, but there it is. There she is in her fire gear, City of Auburn. I'm a huge nerd. I like to collect nerd things. This is probably one of my more prized possessions. This is a signed Thor hammer signed by Chris Hemsworth. You might be able to see the signature there. More signed merchandise. Mark Hamill, William Shatner signed attire. This is me and Chris Hemsworth. If you're wondering which one is which, this is Chris Hemsworth. I know you're confusing the two. This is him. Many people have told me this looks fake. It is not. Moving on, me and Stan Lee, me and Jason Momoa, me and William Shatner, I'm flexing. This is what you kids call flexing, and that's what I'm doing right now. Okay? One of the coolest things I ever got to do was I got to present one of my papers at San Diego Comic-Con. It was an academic study, and that was really the only way I got to go to San Diego Comic-Con, so I jumped at the chance. And this is a picture I took. Many people have said, why don't you have somebody else take a picture of you behind the name tag? And you're right. That is something that to this day, I regret that. But it was kind of one of those weird things where it was like a panel, and someone was coming right behind you, so we were sort of rushed to get out of there. But there you go. All right, so what I wanted to do now is I wanted to get to know you a little bit. So one of the tokens of my classroom, one of the hallmarks of my classroom is something that I call the question of the day. The question of the day is designed to warm us up, beginning the classroom, but it's also a way to kind of encourage participation, so I'm getting everybody to speak at least one time in the classroom. All right, so what I want to do is, today's question of the day, I wonder if I have my roll with me. Today's question of the day is, name an interesting fact about yourself. Name an interesting fact about yourself. It could be anything, your favorite TV show, your hobbies. All right. Let's go. I'm just going to go ahead and just go down this roll. Benjamin is not here. I think he's watching online right now. Brandon.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Brandon. How you doing? What's an interesting fact about yourself?
I'm doing well, and the interesting fact about myself is I love Greek mythology.
You love what?
Greek mythology.
Oh, Greek mythology. Interesting. What's your favorite Greek god?
Poseidon. That's how I got this right.
Okay, excellent. You got a Shriners tattoo on you? That's the god of the ocean. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. What is his superpower?
Well, he can do earthquakes, forces. I mean, his kids are the Cyclops. He can do a lot. Hurricanes. It's really a lot.
Okay. And what you drinking right now? What is that? Do you have a coffee?
Yes, sir.
What do you put in your coffee?
Yes, sir.
Just sugar. That's all you get. Just black and sugar.
Yes, sir.
All right, that sounds fantastic. Will here. Hello, Will. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Will, who wants face to face.
Which last name is that though?
This is a Ansborough.
Yeah, Amstel.
Ansborough.
So interesting fact about myself is I have a scar. Do you guys know those mood reader rings that you like put on and change colors?
I'm aware
My
of this.
scar changes colors with my mood.
Is it really?
Yeah. So like if I'm like super sad or something, it turns more purple. But if I'm doing well, it's like more pink.
Interesting. So I'm going to be looking at that scar just to make sure how you're doing in the classroom.
Yeah, it's kind of a giveaway, but you know.
Okay, excellent. All right, good. Is Dean here? What about Kelsey? What about, what's this, Kaylin? How about Deja? And then Claire? Andrew? Abby? There's Abby. How you doing, Abby?
I'm learning French to be trilingual.
You're learning French to be trilingual. So what else do you speak? You speak English and Spanish. And you're learning French. How different is Spanish from French?
It's not that different. They're almost identical.
Okay, just a couple of changes. Give me an example of a word that's different between Spanish and French.
Well, the way you'll say hi in Spanish is like completely different from French. So that one's a bit tricky, but
Okay.
most of them are like the exact same.
All right, sounds
Just
good.
like the general stuff, like friends and like parents, that's different. But like objects and stuff is the exact same.
All right, sounds good. Is Hannah here? Everybody got, is it Brant? Then we have Allison. Hadasha?
Hadassah.
Hadassah. Hadassah. Okay, great. Interesting fact.
I played 5 instruments.
You played 5 instruments, go.
Clarinet, ukulele, guitar, bass guitar, and piano.
And piano, excellent. So piano is the one outlier, right? So all of them are sort of similar. What would you say is the most drastically different from all the other ones?
Clarinet, probably.
Clarinet is the most different, right? Joy, Micah, Brendan. Hello, Brendan. How you doing?
Very good. The interesting fact is I used to have a Photoshop hobby, but not really anymore. I just kind of lost it.
You used to have a Photoshop hobby
Yeah.
where you did a lot of Photoshops. What are we talking about here?
I did a lot of Photoshops for our lacrosse team in high school.
Okay. Adding some muscle,
No, yeah, obviously.
make them look a little bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. But now you don't do it anymore.
No, I just kind of lost interest.
Okay.
But more flash related stuff.
Excellent. Sean? Sean.
I don't know, I bartended during COVID, I think that's.
You bartended during COVID. How'd that work? Did you have to wear a mask and a shield? Just mask? How'd that work?
Mask, no shield, it's just been fun and interesting. Bartending on New Year's Eve is very fun.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely interactions over COVID has been interesting as a bartender. So.
Do you feel, was there a big crowd during New Year's Eve?
We got like 60 more people than we thought, so I actually got slightly busy. We're thinking it's gonna be pretty dead, but
So you're wondering where the spread is happening.
oh, totally happening in my job.
Okay,
That's
sure.
all I need to know.
Austin. How about Cameron? Paulina? Leah? Elijah? Here's Elijah. How you doing, Elijah? Interesting fact.
I don't have much, but like football, high school.
You play football in high school. What position did you play?
Defensive line.
Defensive line, right? Do you tackle or do you play defensive?
Switch.
Okay, you switching around. Right? They didn't know what you were doing from time to time. Excellent. I believe that's everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and go over the syllabus. All right, so on iCollege, I have what's called a deconstructed syllabus. So if you have, so you can use the downloadable syllabus and download the whole thing. But if you just were wondering, what's the required text? What are the assignments? What are the grades? You can just click on these individual things, and it'll be easier for you to find it throughout the whole semester. We talked about the modality already. Let's talk about the course description. So basically, this is a media theory class. We will be discussing all types of media, including film, but also television. We'll talk about the internet, social media, video games, mobile phones, the whole spiel. And we'll be talking about various theories around various media. So that's the whole point of this class. Moving on. All right, here's the required text. You only have one textbook that you have to purchase yourself. That book is Key Themes in Media Theory. You can find it on Amazon. I believe I have it right here. You can buy the used copy. There's plenty of used copies. So you can get it. It's about 13 bucks, so it's not that much. I intentionally chose a textbook that was pretty cheap. Buy the used copy, go for it. It doesn't bother me. If you want to buy the brand new one, go for it as well. Once again, I deliberately chose a book that I felt was a pretty good book. I read it over the break, and I deliberately chose one that was relatively cheap for you as well. All other required readings are going to be they're uploaded onto iCollege. So you don't have to worry about it. So just buy the textbook, and then read the required readings that are in the tab there, and you should be good to go. Let me show you what that looks like here. So if you go to content, the course is broken down into our individual classes, and each one has, let's say we get down to later in the class, you will have the required readings that are associated with what we're talking about. So it should be relatively easy for you to follow. All right, let's go back to the syllabus, moving through it. So that textbook, please purchase that textbook as soon as possible. Raise your hand if you already have it. Fantastic. Raise your hand if you've ordered it and you're waiting for it to
That's
come.
all, no.
Or raise your hand if that's the case, if you have it, or, all right, so everybody, majority of you here, right, that's fine. So if you don't have it yet, please order it as soon as possible, because we're jumping right into it by Thursday. So please order that as soon as possible. And then, other than the assigned readings and the textbook, there are several movies that I want you to watch. So if you want to go ahead and get ahead of, you can have a game, just watch these movies. Go for it. So, for example, on Thursday, I believe it's Thursday when we have that due. But then the movie that we'll be talking about next is Gamer. Raise your hand if you've seen Gamer yet. All right, so we're gonna watch Gamer, and that will be part of our discussion as well. The reason why I wanted to watch Gamer is because we're going to be talking about media effects and what's called behaviorism, and this is sort of like often talks about the negative effects of media. And Gamer is a great representation of our social anxieties of video games and new media. So Gamer will be the film that I do expect you to watch next. Other films in here, so the majority of these films are on Netflix. Hopefully you have a Netflix account or you know someone who has a Netflix account. There's a couple of things on here that are on Hulu. I think there's one thing that's on Hulu, so if you don't have a Hulu account or you know someone who has a Hulu account. I know a lot of students have ways of getting stuff for free. I don't know how if you have the ability to do that, right? But I believe there's a couple of films that you actually have to purchase yourself. That's They Live, it's a 1988 film. And I believe Gamer, I think you have to purchase that as well. I don't think it's on Netflix. I checked it out. I don't believe it might be on Netflix, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. There's only one that's on Swank. If you're not familiar with Swank, it's the Georgia State's online video database. And so you can watch it for free with your student account. There's one of those on there. So these films are designed to help you conceptualize some of these theories, right? So we can discuss the theories through the film, right? Rather than just talking pure theory in the class, we can talk about these films as well. It kind of gives us a little bit of a break from talking theory as well. Everybody on board so far? Still following along? We're good to go? I'm not losing everybody yet? Okay. So that's your required text. Let's go ahead to assignments. All right. So you'll have one exam, one multiple choice exam. That exam is on the textbook, primarily on the textbook. There might be a couple of readings that will be on the exam too, but it's primarily on the textbook. So it's very important that you get that textbook and you actually read it, because you have a whole exam that is on that textbook. It's going to be discussing some of these theories that we're going to be going over. You'll have 2 reading responses, 500 to 800 words. So you choose 2 readings. Other than the textbook, it cannot be the textbook, but you pick 2 readings. So essentially 2 articles or 2 chapters that I post on iCollege. And you do a reading response on it. Yes?
Yes, sir. Just 500 words per portion or 500 words
Total.
overall?
500 to 800 words total. So not that big of a deal, but what this is just designed to encourage you to do the readings. Right? So some of these articles are relatively long, and I do ask that you read them. Right? This is a 4,000 level class, so I do expect you to be able to do a little more reading than normal. I also understand that you have other classes, so sometimes you don't have time to read everything, but let's make a deal right now. I won't give you weekly quizzes, and I won't give you multiple reading responses if you do the majority of the readings most of the time. Does that sound good, everybody?
Yes, sir.
If you do the majority of the readings most of the time, I won't give you quizzes and multiple reading responses. Fantastic. So in other words, I want you to show up ready to talk about these readings. Okay? Fantastic. You'll have those reading responses, and then you will have 2 papers. A media object assignment is what I titled them. Essentially what you're doing is the first one, you're picking a media object. It could be a film. It could be a social media platform. It could be a media device. For example, an iPhone. It could be a video game. Any media object. And I want you to discuss the affordances of this and the limitations of this platform. So what does the platform want you to do? What does the media object want you to do? And of course, we're going to talk about this throughout the semester, so you'll have a good idea of what I'm talking about here. And then the second paper is you're adding on to how do people do different things with it? How do people use media objects in ways that they're not designed to do? We'll talk about this as we get throughout the whole semester. But those are your two major papers. Sounds good? We're all on the same page? Those are your 4 assignments? Yeah, I'll go back to syllabus. Course schedule. If you go to the course schedule here, this will divide up the class. So you know exactly what chapters I do expect you to have. Alright, so I would like you, and I might have to change this to give you a little more time. I might move chapter 3. But I would like everybody to read the first 2 chapters by Thursday. Okay? So you're going to have, if you're just now getting the textbook, it might be a little bit of a grind at the beginning, but I do expect you to read the first 2 chapters. We're going to talk about behaviorism and media effects on Thursday via Microsoft Teams. Okay? And I do want you to watch games. So we can talk about gaming. It's not the end of the world if 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people don't watch the film, but if everybody doesn't watch the film, then that's going to be a little bit more of a problem. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. So once again, watch Gamer and read chapter 2 in the book, and we'll discuss media effects and behaviors. And then the rest of the semester is divided up here. As you can see here, we got the reading responses. We have the due dates for reading responses. You have your exam. On the exam day, I provided a mental health day, so you can just take that at home. There's no class that day. And all your exam, you take it home. All papers, you turn it online, right? So you're not taking a test in class. Is what I'm trying to say. So the whole class is divided up. If this is what I expect you to have done by this date, does that make sense, everybody? So what's listed here is what I expect you to have done by this particular class. We'll move modernity in chapter 3 to the next class to give you a little more time. Questions so far? I know I'm going over a ton of information. Questions so far? Yes?
Yes, sir. I don't believe my textbook will be here in time.
Okay. It's not the end of the world. Right? It's not the end of the world if you don't have a textbook. But, we'll work through it. Yes?
Could we submit rough drafts? Because there's only 4 assignments for the whole class, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure I get them right, so could we submit rough drafts?
That's a great question. Let me think about it.
All right.
Yeah, let me think
Get
about
back.
it. Okay, sure. I will get back to you. All right. Moving along here. Course schedule, download the syllabus. Of course, if you just like having the syllabus downloaded, you can download the whole thing here as well as a whole thing. All our policies and everything. Great breakdown, course schedule, all that for you. All right. Additional questions? Additional questions? Concerns? We're not heading out here just yet. Hang on. Stick with me. Stay with me. All right, so let's answer a couple questions here. This is essentially the first chapter of the textbook. It's a very short chapter, but this will sort of introduce you to how this class will be done. I'll ask questions, and I do expect you to answer them. Even if you feel like you don't have the right answer, I would rather you talk. Does that make sense, everybody? All right, so what are media? And I use the word "are" there on purpose because media is plural. A lot of times, we typically, when you hear about it on the news or whatever, people say it's the media. The media is trying to tell you this or that. And when they say media, they're referencing what news media is what they're trying to say. But media goes way beyond the news. Media is not just the news. What is media? Give me some examples.
Social media.
Social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, right? What are you guys doing now? TikTok, and that sort of thing. Right? What other media?
Movies,
Movies, right?
TV shows,
Television,
Computers.
computers, right? Smartphones,
Ads.
ads, most certainly, right? All kinds of ads. ads. So literal commercial ads that you see when you're loading onto YouTube and it has an ad before you're watching your video, or a billboard ad when you're driving down the street. It's a form of media, certainly. Other types of media?
Like books, media.
Some would definitely make the argument that books are media.
Our logo is media.
They could be, certainly, especially if they were animated. If they're an animated logo, like a digital logo.
Like a super simple.
Perhaps, I think you could perhaps make the argument that that's a form of media. Right. What is theory? When someone says theory, what is that? What is a theory?
Ideas about a certain subject.
Yeah, it's a way of thinking. It's a way of thinking. And a lot of times there's an assumption that when you go to school, you're learning things. Right? This is what I'm learning, what is true. And once you get deeper into it, you start to realize that people disagree with each other. Even smart people, scholars, who study the same thing. So people studying Facebook, for example, they often disagree with each other. That's why we have theory. There's multiple different types of theories. There's multiple different ways of looking at something. And sometimes people disagree. And you'll see that when we talk about various theories of media. You'll start to notice that there are different schools of thought. Some are more pessimistic towards media. Some are more optimistic. Some are more balanced. And we'll discuss all of these theories, and I do expect you to know all these theories by the end of the semester, and I expect you to choose one that you like. Right? What is one that you feel is a good theory, that this is something that you're interested in? Choose that, and then you will essentially be defending it when you're writing your paper. There you go. Who sings that?
Or future.
Was that
Future.
the Future?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm familiar with that name. I've heard Future before. Excellent. Next question, what is media theory then? Put those two together.
Way of thinking of media?
Yeah, what various ways of looking at media. What is media used for? Why do we use it? What are the effects that it has on us? How can we subvert the messages in media? What willpower do we have? What agency do we have with media? Who has the power? Is it industry? Who's in charge? Yes?
Are we learning just like schools of thought or like actual strategies?
A little bit of both. By strategies, do you mean, what do you mean by strategies?
Social media, marketing, things like that, like ways to advance our careers.
Oh, interesting. We will primarily be focusing on schools of thought and how to apply that when you're looking at media. Yeah. So I think what you're saying is this is less production and more theory.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Yeah, great. Yes. So different ways of looking at media. And once again, you'll notice very quickly that people disagree. Smart people who are looking at the exact same thing disagree. And what media do you use the most?
Social media.
You use social media, which one do you use?
Twitter.
Use Twitter a lot? Are you on Facebook?
No.
Not on Facebook, but you're definitely on Twitter.
Instagram.
All right? On Instagram. The Gram.
Yes, sir.
You call it the Gram?
No.
Is it just me that calls it the Gram?
There's some people do that.
Is it some people call it the Gram? Okay. What else? What media do you use or watch? Netflix? What else?
YouTube,
Was that?
YouTube,
What are you watching on YouTube?
vlogs, just people's lives, like
Okay.
lifestyle videos.
All right, excellent. What media do you not use? What's something you do not use or do not watch?
I refuse to watch TikTok.
You do not like TikTok. You are not on board.
They engineer your emotions with these videos.
Oh, interesting. You engineering your emotion with videos. I like the way you're talking here. It sounds like behaviorism. It sounds like media effects. All right. All right. What else? What media do you not use? Obviously, I don't use TikTok because I'm way too old to be using TikTok. Yes.
I haven't played video games as much in a long time.
But video games, that's something you don't do anymore. Right.
You're not as much.
All right. What video games are you guys playing?
Madden.
Playing that? You play the yard?
No, I haven't.
You ever play the yard? That's the best mode in the whole thing. That's all I do is play the
It
yard.
was real fun. I do franchise mode.
What was that?
Franchise mode.
That's what I usually play, but for whatever reason I haven't really gotten into it, but I've been playing the yard a ton. I'm actually not bad.
I believe it.
I hold my own on the yard. I've been playing Madden longer than you who have all been alive.
Really?
I've been playing since the 90s.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Is it still the same game as the 90s?
No.
It's not?
I mean, there's definitely, it's the same kind of components that you sort of, it has evolved over the years.
What system?
Was that?
What system?
Xbox.
Okay, Xbox.
Alright. Good. Alright, so let's move on. So I do not expect you to understand these terms, but let's talk about them. Because these are the foundational components of what a theory is. And this is how you distinguish the differences between different theories. Epistemology, ontology, and axiology. Epistemology, does anyone know what epistemology means? This one's the most hard, most complex to define. We'll come to this one. Does anyone know what ontology means? Ontology is, what is the thing? What is it? That's ontology. What is it? What is Facebook? What is it? It's a social media platform. How is it different from other social media platforms? How do people use it? What are the limitations of it? What can you do on it? What can you not do on it? This is ontology. What is it actually? That's the question that you're answering. If you're writing a paper with ontology, or a theory that deals with ontology, it's designed to define what it actually is as a thing. Axiology is you're assigning value to the thing. Is this good or bad? Is this harmful or beneficial? Is the ideology behind it negative or beneficial? Does something need to change about it? Does it need to be regulated? Should it not be regulated? Right? This is axiology. You are assigning value to it. And different theories have different opinions on axiology. In critical theory, which we'll be discussing in this class, critical theory is all about, I'm not going to say all about, but heavily in axiology, assigning value to it. Critical theory is saying what is good and what is not good. Right? What is harmful about this? Assigning value to it. Epistemology is a little bit different. Epistemology is how do you know the thing you know is true? How did you get to knowing what are the assumptions of your theory, of your school of thought? What does everybody in this school of thought think? And you'll notice that people assume different things about media. So you have the arguments of different theories, but then you have different assumptions as well. And people even disagree on the assumptions. And we'll be discussing these various theories. But these are the three components of theory. Methodology and method is a little bit different. So methodology and method is what are you practically doing? What are you actually doing in your study to get the evidence that you need for your argument? I'll say that again. Method and methodology is what are you actually doing to get the evidence? Are you conducting a survey? Are you doing an experiment? Are you doing observational research? Are you interviewing people? Right, this is method or methodology. What are you actually doing? And you'll notice that different theories tend to use different methods. And we'll be talking about all this. This is a primarily theory-based class. Questions so far?
Will most of the theories we'd be talking about go into the evidence that they use to support it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I've been in film theory classes before and they just spew information at you. They're like, this is how it is.
Interesting. Okay, but we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
And we're going to debate. And we're going to discuss and more important than debate, is we're going to discuss the benefits and the negatives, or I should say, the limitations of some theories and the benefits of other theories. You'll notice very quickly, what can this theory say about something, but what is it not saying? What is it neglecting? Every theory has its positives and negatives. And you'll learn that throughout this whole class. And you'll notice right away, there might be theories that you're like, you know what, this seems more something that I like than this other theory, which I disagree with. And that's totally fine. Questions, concerns? All right, so on Thursday, we'll be meeting on Microsoft Teams. All right, so we'll be discussing chapter 2 on behaviorism and media effects. Please watch Gamer, so we can talk about Gamer. But that's it. That's all I have for today. I hope I didn't scare everybody on the first day of class. But I'll see you on Thursday. Have a good one, everybody.
Do you produce like songs? Do you make your own songs? No?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
You need somebody who makes music videos?
I actually, yeah.
I'm Will, it's nice to meet you. I make music videos for a living. Hey, you want my Instagram?
Yeah.
I'll follow you on my name.
Yeah, it seemed like I'm more happy with more than 5. And with 5, then I'm concerned, especially the first day, only 5 are coming. Like I said before, I taught all semester last semester, and I saw things dwindle significantly. So starting at 5, I'm like, ooh, this is not a good start. So we'll see.
Does the Wi-Fi difference?
It should be the same. It should be the same when you have that connection.
Like this is for disheartened, you know? So like I would obviously make it fit your style, you know? But like this is what I do. So like if you're interested, just let me know.
Thank you.
No problem. Show me how it's grinding. Nice to meet you, by the way. What's your name?
Hadassah?
Hadassah.
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 Hadassah. Will. Have a good one.
You too.
See you, Professor.
Have a good one. See you on Thursday.
Have a good day.
You too.